It is the 5th day of Vlogmas. It's December 5th. Yesterday I went to the Teyler's museum here in Haarlem, which is the oldest museum in the Netherlands. And the museum was started by a man called Peter Teylers a long time ago, I believe the 18th century. It was his house. He was a very wealthy man. He gave away a lot of his money to charity, but also he wanted to fund science as well as arts. So, and he didn't have a wife or children. So before he died, he had this group of friends. And then when he died, he made sure that all of his money, that the group of friends would use all of his money to start a museum for the city that would make space for art and science. And so it's a very interesting museum. It's very old. There's lots of like bones and things and crystals and minerals and stones and in the long ago, but it also has a very interesting art department. Recently, they've been having a exhibition that is focused on Michelangelo, and it's all focused on how Michelangelo drew men, which is very interesting. They sort of had this like connotation of like this man very much enjoyed drawing men's asses. That was the red line through this exhibition. They had a bunch of, most of it was sketch drawings like this. I just got these postcards to have. It's really hard to do this in mirror. Yeah, I just got these postcards because I thought it was fun to have bare bottom postcards that I can send to my sister. So Stephanie, these are coming your way probably. But yeah, so the whole thing was very, look, we've collected all these sketches from Michelangelo, and they're all nude studies and they're all men. And apparently this man was obsessed with men's bums. So that was it. It was good. The good thing about it was that the museum itself had a bunch of these sketches already, but they've collected them from everywhere, and they literally mean everywhere. There was like from the Louvre in Paris, museums in London, and there were some also from the royal family in the UK. Like it would say like this is from the private collection of King Charles, which is like, okay, that's interesting. And there wasn't like anything, you could just like walk up, you could touch them if you wanted to. I think if you're like medium interested in this topic, I wouldn't say it was I wouldn't say it was worth it. But if you are someone who is interested in either like Michelangelo or someone who's interested in like queer culture and how that manifested through the ages, then yeah, maybe that is something that would interest you. But it was, yeah, I would say maybe for me personally, the €10 wasn't necessarily worth it. I just thought it was funny to see that there's all these sketches sort of like all over the world. And this little museum in Haarlem managed to sort of get them all together and show them. But you're here for knitting, I know that. Let's talk about my Sophie Hood that I've been working on. I've been working on this a lot. I really, really like this shawl. So I'm about here. What does that mean? I think I put these in yesterday and then I knitted most of this part yesterday evening. So I feel like I'm nearly at the point where I have to start making the hood, which makes sense because this is a long flap. So it's just an enjoyable knit. I really enjoy it. I do feel I'm a little bit worried that there might have been some instances where, because I have to increase every 8 rounds, where I may have forgotten to increase. That means I just went on another 8 rounds, and increasing every 8 rounds is already a slow increase. But if I've done that, then I'm probably making this way longer than necessary. And if I on the other side, because the construction is, it's this side, then there's a hood, and then another side for this. You sort of knit it tip to tip. If I do the other side correctly, I'm going to have one flap that's longer than the other. Does that matter? Not necessarily, but it will be true. So we'll find out when I finish the other side if I've messed up. I've been thinking about making another one, maybe for my son. If I finish this and he likes it, I might make another one in like a different color. And then I'll probably for him make the smaller version, because this is the medium version. I feel like this is already so long. If this is the medium, I'm just wondering how long the large was going to be. So I'm happy I didn't choose that and I chose the medium size. I was at my boyfriend's house yesterday evening and I was complaining because I'd forgotten to bring my yarn butler, which is, it's quite large and I don't really bring it with me because it's not really transportable. But then that meant that this sort of ball was on the table because I didn't want to have it on the floor, but that kind of made it hard to knit because it was constantly pulling at the ball. And I do love knitting with the yarn butler because the yarn really smooths, you can really pull off the yarn very smoothly. And then my boyfriend, in like 30 minutes, where is that thing? Oh, I think I forgot it somewhere. Oh no, it's behind me. In like 30 minutes with his 3D printer, he designed and made a tiny little yarn butler that works really, really well. And it has, you can see at the bottom. So it has a, like a ball bearing thing, and there's like rubber feet at the bottom so it stays in place, but it's very light and it's just small. But I was thinking, why are these things so large? Because it doesn't really matter, right? Really happy with this, and look how much smaller it is compared to my regular size one. Isn't that fantastic? So really happy. 3D print, ball bearing, and it just spins really nicely, and it's tiny. The other project that I have is the flax sweater. I haven't done anything on this yesterday. As soon as I started the Sophie Hood, I've not been very motivated to continue with this sweater. So I think if I finish the bottom and start the sleeve, I'll be a little bit more interested in finishing this up. This morning, by the way, it was so foggy outside. It was absolutely crazy. You could not see what was happening. So I went for a walk and went to one of because in Haarlem, you have like the city, and then right across the city through the middle, you have the Sparna River. So there's like all these bridges so that people can get from one side of the river to the other side of the river. But there's, especially in summer, there's so many people who come to visit the city with their boats. especially people, you know, who like have started their pension and things like that, because, you know, who else has time to spend weeks and weeks on a boat? So the boats are, or the bridges are, there's a big need for these bridges to be able to open and close often. So I was on one of those today and I was just making some shots of the mist, and it was quite funny because there was some workers working on the bridge doing some repairs, but they had opened it, so I just like was able to look inside what was happening, and it was really interesting. It was sort of like much deeper than I thought it would be. So have a lovely Friday evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.